Everyone, the iPhone 15 Plus has just officially came out, so let's go and compare it against the iPhone 14 and see which specific phone is a better one for you. Now, if you want to pick up some phones I would recommend buying this year, including these two, links will be down in the description. You can get them from there and you can help support the channel at the same time. Now, starting off with the outside of both these iPhones, you can clearly see the 14 is a much smaller phone than the 15 Plus. The 14 on the front has a 6.1-inch Super Retina XDR OLED display, and it's a very good looking panel. I've had a great time with this panel. They're both 60Hz, but this one is a little tiny bit different than the 15 Plus. So for one, you kind of have, I guess, like a little bit of a thicker amount of bezel. It's not really that big of a deal, but it might be a slight difference for some people. You're getting the notch up top, which again isn't the biggest deal in the world, but it's a slight difference there too. But those are basically the main differences. Other than that, it's still a very good looking panel. I've had a great time using it for the last year or so, and I still think it's a very, very good phone to pick up. On the iPhone 15 Plus, on the other hand, this is a little bit of a different story. So with this particular phone, you are getting basically the same type of device as if 14, but there's some differences here for sure. So with the 15 Plus, you're getting, first of all, a bigger size 6.7-inch Super Retina XDR OLED display. So that right there is a way bigger phone. So again, that's a big thing to keep in mind. But you're also getting a few other things. You're getting that dynamic island display, which is a very nice touch. I love personally having that dynamic island, and that in and of itself is a really nice touch. You're getting a little bit of bezel around it, nothing crazy, better I would say than the iPhone 14, and it's still a very good phone. It's a big phone though, so keep that in mind. If you're not comfortable using a big phone, then you're probably not going to like using this thing, to be honest. Now for the rest of the phone, you can kind of see what else we're working with. So the iPhone 15 Plus, you're basically getting, again, the side buttons, flat sides on both, but the iPhone 15 Plus does actually have like a little bit of a curvature to it, which can be actually kind of a nice thing. It's not the biggest difference in the world, but again, it's like a nice little tiny thing to have. And I actually do think it feels very, very good in the hand. No SIM card trays on either one of these. On the bottom is another pretty big difference. So with the iPhone 15, you're actually getting that lightning port, or with the 14, you're getting the lightning port. The 15, you're basically getting that USB Type-C port now. So that is another pretty big thing to keep in mind too. If you're wanting to utilize all those USB-C type accessories, the 15 Plus having that type of capability is actually very cool. And once again, I'm a very, very big fan of having that type of capability on that type of device. On the backside, you can kind of see what else we're working with. So in the 15 Plus, we're basically having that dual camera setup. The iPhone 14, we're having that dual camera setup as well. Frosted glass back on the 15 Plus this year, which is actually very, very nice. I personally love having that frosted glass back. It feels so nice in the hand, and that is something that I personally look at, and I'm actually a massive fan of it. With the iPhone 14, you have this standard glass back, which I think is like pretty good too. Like it's a fairly good, glass back on this type of phone. But I would definitely argue that on something like the 15 Plus, it feels so much better in the hand, and I'm such a massive fan of this type of back. The 14, like I said before, still looks very good, not too much to complain about here, but the 15 Plus definitely is better. Both have IP certification and wireless charging and everything else like I just mentioned, so that kind of covers it up on the outside right there. Now, in terms of the software and longevity, this is going to be a little bit of a difference. So with the iPhone 14, this thing had a chipset that was the same one as its predecessor. The iPhone 15 Plus has the same chipset as its predecessor of the Pro model. So I don't think that these two phones are going to last the same amount of time, but the 15 Plus is going to probably last as long as the iPhone 14 Pro. So the Pro model of this phone, which is probably going to last longer than this one, is probably going to be how long this phone's going to last, to be honest. So keep that in mind. This one is probably going to last 1 year less than the 15 Plus. But the 14 is still going to be here for many, many years. You're really not going to be missing out on too much. But the 15 Plus in this specific case is probably going to be the one that's going to last a longer amount of time as far as I can tell. So from that specific perspective, that kind of covers it up there as well. Now let's go and do a speed comparison between both these phones. The iPhone 15 Plus has that Apple A16 Bionic chip inside of it with 6GB of RAM, where the iPhone 14 has that Apple A15 Bionic chip inside of it with 6GB of RAM. So let's go see which one's a faster one between both. Okay, there we go. All the apps are cleared on the background except for this one. So let's get into it. Phone calls 3, 2, 1. Okay, kind of the same thing. Music 3, 2, 1. And the 15 Plus is the better one there. Hopping out of these two. Let's do their app store 3, 2, 1. And the iPhone, well, they were on two different panels, so it's kind of tough to tell there. But scrolling through, let's see if there's a big difference. Both have 60Hz panels. They're both connected to the same Wi-Fi, so I don't know if there's going to be like a massive difference there. But you can kind of tell that there's basically around the same thing. Hopping out of these two, camera 3, 2, 1. Kind of look like a little glitch on the iPhone 14 when I hopped out of it. Okay, both have their photos. This one did take night mode, this one did not. So slight difference. Open up that photo. Actually faster on the iPhone 14. Hopping on both these photos, 3, 2, 1. And the iPhone 14 was actually slightly faster than the 15 Plus. So I'm going to settings, 3, 2, 1. And the 14 looked to be a little bit faster there too. Very interesting. Let's go and load up some other apps. Files, 3, 2, 1. 15 Plus slightly faster. Stocks, 3, 2, 1. About the same thing there. Hopping out of these two. Let's try Temple Run 2, 3, 2, 1. And I think the iPhone, actually I don't know which one's faster here to be honest. I think the iPhone 14 may have been slightly faster there. Hopping out of these two. Let's go and get into some other ones. Oh, I have so many applications here. Stack, 3, 2, 1. Okay, the iPhone 15 I think was slightly slower there, which is very interesting. Let's do Facebook, 3, 2, 1. I am logged in here, so it's probably not going to work that well. So faster here, but I wasn't logged in here. Netflix, 3, 2, 1. A little bit of a pop-up here, but the 15 Plus was still going to be faster there regardless. We can try one more. We could try Genshin Impact, but I guess I don't have it here, which is very weird. But overall, what I'll definitely tell you is between both these applications and both these phones, you are definitely getting very fast performing phones from both of these, and I really honestly don't think there's one that was way faster than the other one. They're both very, very similar in a lot of different ways, so I think that's just kind of what it is. But I would probably say that the iPhone 15 Plus is going to be the faster one over time, but the 14 kind of actually was faster in some ways too, which is very, very interesting. Now, in terms of the camera comparison here, we have dual camera setups on both, wide and ultra-wide cameras. They both do very similar things. So we have 4K at 60 on the front and the back of both of them. We have our camera setups. We have our glass back on the iPhone 14. We have our frosted glass back on the 14 Plus, which looks amazing. We have MagSafe capability, everything like that. But we have the dual cameras, which is what I was trying to focus on. And I would definitely say that the 14 camera and the 15 Plus camera, very, very similar. There really isn't like a massive amount of difference here. With the iPhone 14, you're getting 5x zoom here, 0.5x zoom on the outside. Remember those numbers. Video mode, cinematic mode, lots of good stuff. I mean, there really isn't that big of a difference. I plan on doing a full camera comparison between these two at some point anyway. But I wouldn't really go from a 14 to a 15 Plus because of the camera. But you are getting some really interesting stuff because this time you are getting twice the amount of zoom on the iPhone 15 Plus over the iPhone 14. So that's actually a pretty big difference this year, to be honest. Photo mode, video mode, cinematic mode, slow mode, time lapse, portrait mode as well. Still lots of good stuff, and I actually like the 15 Plus a lot because of that type of camera upgrade. It wouldn't be the reason I would go and upgrade to this one in particular, but it is a nice thing to actually be able to upgrade from my iPhone 14 to my iPhone 15 Plus from that specific perspective. So overall, what I'll definitely tell you is the 15 Plus I think is the overall better phone. It's going to last a longer amount of time over my iPhone 14. It's going to have lots of cool capability. It's going to give you better battery life, better display, better cameras, better performance, better everything on this phone. But I do look at a phone like the iPhone 14, and I think this is a very solid device. Like I really, really like this phone a lot. And that's just one of the things going on with this device. It's not perfect, like neither one of these phones are perfect, but I do like the iPhone 14 a lot. And I do think this is a very good phone for the price, but the 15 Plus is probably the better phone, but I would probably end up buying the iPhone 14 when it comes down to it. So that kind of covers it up there. If you have any other thoughts or questions, let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.